subscribers. We can go live now. This is awesome. I'm so happy to be live with you all in the This is Deeper community today. Thinking about people's marriages, those partnerships, why they matter, and what they can mean for our lives, for our well-beings. I talked to a client recently, like today, and she said, when I asked, like, why did you work with me? Why did you choose to work with me? She was holding a bunch of stuff in her marriage for years, decade, maybe, almost. And it was interfering with her life, interfering with her ability to feel connected to her husband, interfering with her emotional regulation, all kinds of stuff. And that's part of it. But the bigger part was, she said, life is too short. Life is too short to be in a relationship that's not it. And so she loved her husband, she loves her husband, but it was in a mid state. It was just in a blah, disconnected, perfunctory logistics kind of thing. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people are kind of in that place. They live in that place where their relationship is just mid okay. But I believe that, in my heart, I believe that marriages can be so much more, should be so much more. If you're gonna bother getting married, you might as well do it in a way that feels amazing. You have the potential for it to be amazing. The potential for your marriage to be amazing exists. But it's not normal. It's not normal for it to be amazing. It's not normal for your marriage to be amazing. It's normal for half of the people who get married to get divorced. It's normal for the majority of people who stay married to be in a negative place. It's abnormal to have a good marriage. It's abnormal to be in a marriage that works for you, that grows with you, that gives you, hola Milton. Hello, how are you, honey? Oye. Hey, son. Hey, buddy. It's normal to be in a bad marriage. That's normal. But I believe that there's so much potential for you to be in a good marriage, but there's hardly any infrastructure, there's hardly any programs, there's hardly any things around you to help help you do that. I looked up today the statistics for what's the size of the wedding industry. About $70 billion a year in the United States. What's the size of the divorce industry? About $50 billion in the United States per year spent on divorces. And that's a conservative figure because it doesn't take into account the health costs and the emotional costs and the strain on your kids and all the other crap that comes out of it. I don't know anything about Roblox. I'm not a baby. Ask my daughter. But for me, I remember thinking, we spent all this money and time on the wedding, but nobody prepared us to be married. Nobody really prepares you to be married. And one little session with the pastor about quote unquote marriage counseling is not going to get it. You need constant reinforcement. And if therapy was fixing it, it would be fixed. If church was fixing it, it would be fixed. If the rules and laws of the government were going to fix the issues of marriage, it would be fixed, because all those things exist, and still half of the people who get married split up. And still a majority of people who stay together are in a semi-dead relationship. And that is a tragedy to me. That makes me so sad. When you can have a marriage where you feel excited, you can have a marriage where you look across the room and are thrilled to see that person looking back at you. You get a tingle when you see them. You're excited to get to be with them alone. You feel seen by them. You feel when they touch you the way that you want to be touched. Like all those things are possible in marriage, but people just fall for people don't think. That's one issue. People don't really think about what's the consequence of my decision? What's the consequence of my choice? What happens if I speak up or don't speak up? People lose feeling for each other and they don't get at it at the beginning. They let it grow and grow and grow and grow. I remember when I used to be a personal trainer, I would say to people, and my coach said to me, I wish people would come back to me when they gained that first 5 pounds back, not when they've gained 50 pounds. But that's naturally the way humans do things is we don't generally want to fix things or invest in keeping things up. We wait until they're almost broken. And so the industry for marriage counseling is about $3 billion a year. So weddings, $70 billion a year, divorce, $50 billion, and only $3 billion a year spent on keeping people together. And by the time they're in marriage counseling, a lot of their stuff is already broken. So that's why I created This Is Deeper, for folks who are feeling that little bit of a gap, but want to get on it before it becomes a big gap, before their thing becomes beyond fixable, before their next step is divorce. And I love that space. I love that place because keeping it up is better than trying to fix what's broken. You know, for me, there's so many parallels in work that I've done. Maybe I just like taking on hard stuff. That's dumb. Anyway, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Elisa Gardenhire, creator of This Is Deeper, intimacy education for couples to help them touch better, talk better, and connect better. That's what we do. One date night at a time. But yeah, maybe I just like hard stuff, which is dumb. So I used to own a tutoring company. It was kind of the same, where people didn't come to me until their kid was having a problem. But we sold enrichment classes that you could join at any time before your kid was having a problem to help make sure that they had a solid foundation in math and English. People generally don't come for that. They come when there's a problem. Oh, my kid's struggling in school. Well, the struggle in school started 2 months ago, 4 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. The struggle in your marriage started 4 years ago, but you're feeling it, and now it's gotten to a critical point, and you want to address it now. And that's the issue. That's human nature. So I'm not sure how to overcome human nature. I got to think about that some more. But there's so much pleasure possible in marriage. There's so much joy and being turned on and feeling seen and feeling heard by that person that you chose to love. That is a true possibility. It's a true possibility that you can be loved deeply by your spouse. Hey, Kellen. But there's so many people, like the majority of the internet is saying, don't bother. Don't bother. And, you know, I'm a PhD. I think about a lot of stuff deeply. And, you know, maybe marriage as an institution is flawed. I think there's a great possibility of that. But it's what we got right now. It's what we have right now. So how do we make your marriage, I'm not talking about all the marriages in the world, I'm talking about your marriage, how do we make your marriage the best it can be? What are you willing to invest in? You maintain your car better than your marriage. You maintain your home better than your marriage. You maintain your clothes better than your marriage. You probably take better care of your dog than you do your marriage. But your marriage is going to cost you more when it breaks down than your car, your house, or your dog. It's going to cause it comes at the cost of your heartbreak and your disappointment and your hurt and your anger and the lingering shit that you carry with you for months and years after when you're trying to look for that love again. But putting in an investment now in let's have an amazing date night and not just go to a fucking movie or even take a nice trip, but let's do a deeper date night with Dr. Elisa so that we can really get in a space in a container that's safe for us to connect, so that she can show us how to touch each other in new ways, so that she can give us a space. And that's all my job is. I'm there as a neutral, positive facilitator for you all to be together with each other, for you to connect to each other, for you to feel each other. That's my job. That's what I do with Genius. I don't know if you've ever read that book, Genius Zone, but my genius is creating safe spaces for people and for hearing them and hearing what they want and hearing what they need and helping them share that with their partners. That's what I do. I say that with 100% confidence. That's what I do at Genius Level. That's what I do at Genius Level, is provide that for folks. So if you're a person, you're watching this, and you're a person who wants more and who wants better for your life, like my client said, life is too short. I've lived probably 2/3 of my life already. I don't know where you are in your spectrum. It could be done tomorrow. Think about that. It could be done tomorrow. And is your legacy going to be that I lived this mediocre life? That I had this mediocre marriage? That I didn't express myself? That I didn't take the opportunity to invest in this thing that I chose for myself? Maybe. That's most people's legacy. But I hope you're not most people. I really hope you're not. But that's most people's legacy. To have a marriage that nobody envies. To have a marriage that nobody speaks of in a way that says, wow, they really get it. They really get each other. I really would love to have that. And it's not easy. If you picked or you're in a situation that's difficult, it's not easy to turn that around. Both of you have to be mature. Both of you have to be grown-ups. Both of you have to own your own shit and come willing to work towards something better, to believe that you can have something better, to want something better with that person that you chose to love and commit your life to. We have divorce laws for a reason, and thank God we do have them, because marriage without that option for an out is a trap. And so many people, women in particular, were trapped in marriages. There's centuries of that. Centuries of that where women had, because of laws and patriarchy and blah, 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 could not get out. So we need to keep divorce on the table. Like, getting rid of divorce doesn't get rid of the problem. But the issue is not the marriage and divorce. The issue is the relatedness. The issue is the connectedness. The issue is the ongoing maintenance of your relationship and investing in the ongoing maintenance of your relationship. I don't care if you work with me or not. I'm happy to work with you. I would love to work with you. But the ongoing real maintenance of your relationship, I know some people who are able to do that on their own. And I know a lot of other people who let shit slide and slide and slide until they're either so resigned to the negativity, toxicity in their marriage, they just say that that's what marriage is like, or they feel stuck for one reason or another, or they don't want to upset the rest of their lives. And these are, make your choices, pick your heart, as they say. Pick your heart. But wouldn't it be lovely if your marriage was not one of the hard things you had to deal with in life, but was a place you went for comfort, but was a place you went for refreshment, was a place where it was mutual. It was not just you being the one to comfort, but you also received comfort from your partner. The thing I've noticed in the initial, this date night is a new product for me. So, but the thing I've noticed in these initial sessions I've had with clients is men will say, we're fine, there's this or that issue, but we're fine. But at the same time, when their wives have presented them with, well, this is a challenge for me, or this is difficult for me, or I'd like this, they want to please their wives. They want to please them. And they maybe don't know how, or they've never heard this in that way, that they're able to hear it in the sessions with me. But they want, I've seen it it's so obvious in these Zooms. I have these sessions virtually because I live all around the world. But it's so obvious that these men want to please their wives. They want their wives to be happy. But they also can walk around very oblivious. And that's a bigger issue of parenting boys and raising boys and patriarchy and other shit that I'm not going to deal with here. But in this primary relationship they have, what I've seen over and over again is that the men, when presented with an issue in a safe space of the container of the date night that I create for them, or that we co-create together, that I facilitate, they are hungry to give their wives what they need, whether that's listening, whether that's support, all kinds of things. And so all these internet folks who are saying men are no good are not wrong, because the overarching line of patriarchy is negative. But when I'm talking about individual men who are in partnership with women, for me, consistently across the board, I find that these men want to show up for their wives. And if that means they have to think and figure out and behave differently, they're willing to do it. Because they want the relationship to last. They want it to stick. They want it to be there. And I think for women, they show up differently, which totally makes sense, because often they're the ones who are more responsible for the emotions in the relationship. They oftentimes are giving more in terms of caregiving and support for the whole household. And so their needs are different. They're coming with something different. They're the ones booking the appointments. I haven't had any men book appointments yet. All my clients have been booked by women. That's mainly who I talk to about this, so it makes sense. But they're coming because they want it to be better. They love their husbands. They want their marriages to work. They want their marriages to be better. But they feel stuck, or they feel like I can't tell what he's doing. Or one specifically recently, I want more cuddling. We have a lot of sex. I want more cuddling. I want more non-sexual touch. That's what I talk about a lot when I'm talking about This Is Deeper. How non-sexual touch, how platonic touch, how cuddling, how hugs, how intimacy that's not always leading to sex, because a lot of women are scared to touch their husbands because they know if I touch my husband, then it's always going to lead to sex, and they don't always want that. And it's not that they object to the sex, but what they want is to be seen and felt and heard and touched in a way that shows that I'm more than just this vehicle for you to hop on top of and hump. Even if the sex is amazing, can I be more than just this vessel for you to enter? And that shows that a woman, when I talked to another client recently, when she was saying, I felt seen by my husband in a new way. I felt seen by him in a new way in the session with you. That's what I'm talking about. That women want to be seen as whole humans. They want to be seen as people. They want their partner to be interested in the stuff that they care about. And you don't have to go to knitting circle or fucking go to Pilates or whatever, although Pilates probably wouldn't hurt you. And knitting is a pleasure for everyone who tries it, as a knitter myself. But you don't have to go to that stuff, but you can give a shit about what your wife's interested in, or she's going to hold it back and be creating a whole new world without you, a whole new life without you. And you see it over and over and over again when men say, the divorce came out of nowhere. That is literally impossible, sir. It's that you were not clued into it. You zoned out when she talked to you. You thought she was just nagging. You believe the stuff that people say about women as opposed to being included into your woman and what she's asking for from you. And that's a big difference. And that does not fly in the This Is Deeper container. And luckily I haven't had to come up against it so far much. But I've got an upcoming session this weekend and we will see. Because I think that could be the case, that there are sometimes a man wants to stay oblivious. And if that's the case, then that's information for his wife that she doesn't have to be ambiguous about anymore. She can know, oh, okay. But my goal always is to help people connect and help people see one another and help people love better, touch better, connect better, communicate better. And that's what we do in our container for This Is Deeper. Got any questions? I will happily answer them in the chat. Are you married? Are you partnered? Do you care about this? Are you divorced? How come? How come? So, anyway, this has been fun. I've been so excited to finally get to be able to do a live. It feels like I've been waiting for YouTube to let me do a live on this channel. So I'm thrilled to do it. I'll do some more. I know you're supposed to be on lives for like multiple hours, but I've been working since 6 this morning and it is 7:30 p.m. So I'm going to log off, but I appreciate you. Come back again. Let's talk about your love. Bye.